For the first 4 weeks, you have been reading short stories about ethnicity, identity, generational conflict, cultural conflict, and relationships between the genders. To conclude this unit on short stories, your assignment is to write a short paper. You will choose one prompt from the 2 that I have given you. The topics for your paper can be about ethnicity, identity, generational conflict, cultural conflict, and gender conflict. Prompt 1 is about identity and childhood. Prompt 2 is about identity and young adulthood. For your paper, just choose one of these prompts. In the short stories that revolve around a character growing up, the older generation plays a very important role in imparting values and traditions to the younger person. This generational divide can motivate the individual to seek a greater understanding of the old traditions, but it can also provide conflict and tension as the young person tries to find his or her social location in a new culture. The stories for Prompt 1 are Daughter of Invention by Julia Alvarez, House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, Two Kinds by Amy Tan, The Lesson by Toni Cade Bambara. Pick only one short story from above and write a 3 to 4 page essay analyzing how the main character in that short story arrives at his or her social location. Be sure to consider in your essay the following: the generational conflict in the story, the attitudes, the economic political situations and the social conventions of the time, and how the characters move in and out of different communities and how their identities change. Before you begin your paper on Prompt 1, do this pre-writing exercise for your own benefit. Look at the list of questions that Kirk and Okazawa Ray give on the first page of the reading. How would your main character answer those questions? Make a list of conflicts among the characters in the story that you've chosen for your paper. Which ones would exist regardless of whether the family had moved to the U.S. or lived in a different community? Which ones are created or heightened by their location? If you pick Prompt 1 for your paper assignment, your wiki exercise will be to put yourself in your character's head and explain why you, as that character, feel the way you do. Now write a paragraph using third person explaining the conflicts that are happening at the micro, meso, and macro levels as described in the Kirk and Okazawa Ray reading. Explain how ethnic and cultural values are significant to the character's feeling of belonging to the community or of being the outsider. Prompt 2, the stories are Love in L.A. by Dagoberta Gilb, A&P by John Updike, Courting a Monk by Catherine Min, and Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been by Joyce Carol Oates. Pick only one short story from above and write a 3 to 4 page paper analyzing the gender conflict in the stories and how cultural background influences relationships. Be sure to consider in your essay the following: the different stereotypes in each of the stories. What is feminine behavior and what is masculine behavior in the different stories? Are the characters typical or atypical in their gender roles? Before you begin your paper on Prompt 2, do this pre-writing exercise. Write down some typical stereotypes associated with young men and young women. Next, write down some stereotypes associated with Hispanic men and women. Then, Asian men and women. And finally, white men and women. Are these lists the same? Make lists of stereotypes for people of lower, middle, and upper socioeconomic classes. If you pick Prompt 2, your wiki exercise is to identify one or more stereotypes operating in the story that you have chosen. Write a paragraph and explain how the stereotypes affect the interactions between the characters in that story. Before you begin writing your paper, go to the video link and watch the video entitled The Sum of Its Parts, Theme in Short Fiction. Watching the video will help you see how the different parts of a story can help you understand its theme. Viewing the video is one way to help you put your ideas together to find a starting point for your paper.